continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Warner Anderson as Matthew Swain, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, and Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie.
Behind the iron gates of the big house on the hill, an uneasy Leslie Harrington locks and bolts the door. For Elliot Carson has just phoned to warn him that George Anderson has been drinking at Ada Jack's Tavern. And now he's on his way to the Harrington house, angry and deeply disturbed.
You mustn't drink, Connie. That's one of the things the doctors emphasized.
Was he by himself?
No, he was with Paul Hanley. They left together. I didn't even know George knew Paul Hanley. Connie, do you know something about Paul Hanley?
Please, Julia, don't ask any questions. I can't explain.
They tell you it's only in your head.
Oh, that's because they have no cure for reality, George.
Oh, there's a cure for it. You do what Elliot Carson did.
To his wife. To my sister. George, do you think Elliot Carson killed my sister? Hmm? He said he didn't. He swore on a witness stand that he didn't kill her. He swore that he heard a man run out of a beach house. Well, don't you believe your old buddy? George, you think he lied to you? George, don't you realize who killed my sister? Now, come on, think about it. Can't you see it, George? I found out. Leslie Harrington has been getting away with everything all these years. Leslie Harrington killed my sister, Elizabeth. Leslie Harrington has been your wife's good friend.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
What about it, George?
The lights are all out downstairs.
Yes, Harrington isn't expecting anyone.
All's quiet at the castle. That's what Betty used to call it. Castle Harrington. Well, tonight, the castle walls come tumbling down.
And the king of the castle tumbles with them. The whole town will hear the crash, George.
They'd have heard it long ago if I'd met you sooner. That's what a good army man needs, an intelligence section, a G2 to keep his eyes open.
George, I'll come in with you.
No. This is a solo mission.
If you feel up to it, if you're all right.
All right. I'm better than all right. I'm cured. You know what did it? It wasn't those doctors that did it. It wasn't even my ever-loving wife. No, it was meeting you. That's what did it. Because tonight, you gave me a dose of the most powerful medicine in the world. The truth.
coming in to dinner?
How was the pot roast?
How did you know I ordered it?
Well, you always do, and I never could understand why, because the one you make is so much better.
Now, Matt. All right, you can come to dinner when Claire gets here. You know how fond she is of you.
You know how fond of her I am. There she is, your lovely daughter.
Well, how did you find out?
Well, your husband is one of my leg men.
Very nice write-up, Matt.
I'm intimidated by my brilliant daughter.
You intimidated by something? I don't believe it, Grace. I'd like to interview Claire when she comes to visit you.
You expect your readers will be interested in the Indians of Peru?
They'll be interested in Claire. How many other girls in Peyton Place have accomplished what she has?
Why don't you interview her now? Well, phone her in New York.
Yes, why don't we?
I'll place the call. It won't take a minute.
Robertson fine fettle, isn't he?
Well, you know how he feels about Claire. And it's a great relief to him that Leslie Harrington has dropped that codicil fight.
Well, Robert would have stood up to him because he has too much integrity not to.
It was a sordid business. I'm glad it's over.
Well, Leslie can be a very ruthless man. I sometimes wonder if such ruthlessness doesn't defeat its own purpose.
You'll never know. You're not that breed of animal. Neither is Robert. I can't say I regret it.
Sorry, Matt. She wasn't in.
Oh, too bad. Well,
good night.
Good night,
Can we
Matt.
keep this?
Yeah.
Robert, I wonder where Claire went tonight.
I don't know. She wasn't even registered at the hotel in New York.
What do you have, Les?
What is this? Breaking into my home, making an uproar?
About time somebody made an uproar, isn't it, Les?
What are you talking about?
Elizabeth Carson can't. Elliot can't. Julie and Betty can't. Don't you see, Les? It's up to me.
George.
It figures, doesn't it? You and me, finally, settling things.
There's nothing to settle. Now go home. I know you've been with Handley. Whatever he told you isn't true.
Huh? Is that why you have the gun, Les?
You're a disturbed man.
Ah. You're the disturbed one. You killed Elliot's wife.
That's Handley's version.
Elliot Carson. Sorry. Clumsy of me. Elliot Carson. The nicest guy in the whole world. You killed his wife, and you let him go to prison for it. Is that what you're going to do with Julie? Kill her? When you get bored with Julie, you're going to kill her and let me go to prison for it?
You're imagining these things. You always have imagined them. There's nothing between Julie and me. There never has been. Now go home.
You don't really expect me to believe that? After everything that's happened, Wes? Oh, my arm. Oh, I think I've broken it. Look.
If you're faking this, George, don't.
I think I broke it. Wes.
I'm surprised at you, Les. Pulling a gun on an old combat vet. You should have gone to war, Les. Elliot and I went. Now, you stayed home. With the mill. And Elizabeth and Julie. Am I still imagining things, Les? Am I imagining that that is Julie calling you?
Les, George is...
He's here, Julie.
Well, let me talk to him, please. George? George, please, I'm at home. George, please come home.
Talk to her, George. Talk to her.
Now, Les, you've killed her for me. Well, not the same way you killed Elliot Carson's wife, but you have killed her for me.
George.
Get rid of her. Tell her we're just talking. Like the old pals we are.
George. George, please.
Don't worry, everything's all right, Julie. George and I are just talking.
Les, George is...
You're going to tell the truth, Les. I want a written confession.
What's this to you?
I told you. The others can't fight back. I'm the only one that can settle things. Don't you see, Les? It has got to be me. I want a written confession.
Good evening, Norman.
Hello, Mr. Hanley. How are you?
Just fine. How are you feeling?
I'm okay.
Where are you headed?
Well, I was on my way home. I just went out for a walk.
Well, I'm going over to the inn to get something to eat. Why don't you come along?
I really should be getting home.
Still early.
I guess I made a real spectacle of myself the other night.
Oh, well, any of us would look a little unusual, tied to the pillory.
Those things I said. You know, about the family. I must have been feeling real sick.
Is that all it was, Norm? Feeling sick?
Yeah, I feel differently now.
Do you? Well, I hope so. I really do. Come on along. I'll get you some coffee.
Okay.